Okay guys, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the negative battery terminal. As you can see, it's covered by this plastic cover that has a PCM on the top. In this vehicle, these screws are already taken out. I don't know who worked on this vehicle prior to me, but they did not put the screws, so this is already loose. So what you're going to do is you're going to just move this out the way. This should just come out, as so. And just put it to the side like that. You know, put it to the side, and now you're able to see the two posts on the battery. So we're going to disconnect the negative. That's a size 8mm, so disconnect it and we should be okay. Once you take the 8mm bolt, just put it onto the side. Just make sure it doesn't touch any negative part of the battery and we should be okay. Okay guys, so the first thing we have to do is got to make sure that the seat is as most back as it can be, because you need as much space as you can to work in this area here. So just put the seat back, give yourself some room so we can begin. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to be removing are these screws. See if you can see that one down there as well. It's a 5.5mm. I'm going to be using this little extension with the 5.5mm with this electric ratchet. So let's take that off first. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get either a panel popper, a flathead screwdriver, or a pick tool, anything that makes the job easier. I use this screwdriver, and what I did is I pried this open. This is normally closed, as so, but I pried it open with the screwdriver. Make sure it's as fine as you can get it. So you just pick at it real gently. These normally pop real easily. You don't have to do too much pressure. You can just, you know, go on the corner and just turn the screwdriver like that and this should just pop. So I need to do it on the other side. I have not done it on the other side yet. As you can see, this side is still closed. So I'm gonna do that now and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. Okay guys, now both sides are open, as you can see, loose. You know, I wish I showed you how to actually do it, but since I'm holding the phone, it's a little hard for me to hold the phone and pry it at the same time, and I don't want to, you know, damage any of the trim, any of the plastic trim here. So just put a screwdriver in, pry it, and you should be able to get this loosened. So now let's take this cover off. It should come off like that. Okay, now you have visibility of the multi-function switch. Now that we have visibility of the multi-function switch, what you're going to do next is you're going to get this lever here, pull it down so the steering wheel can go down, and it can give you a little bit more access to the switch. Okay, that's what we're going to be replacing. So just move it a little bit, and you should be able to move this plastic trim on the steering wheel down, just so you can give you a little bit more space to work and get that multi-function switch out. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this connector. This is the connector that attaches to the multi-function switch. As you can see, there's a tab down here. This tab goes up and down, as you can see. What you're going to do is you're going to push that tab and then grab the connector as like I'm doing. I don't know if you can see from the actual plastic. Do not grab from the cable. You run the risk of accidentally pulling out one of these cables, and it's going to be really hard to put it back in, especially if you break the tab that this cable goes into. So just press on this tab here, hold on to the whole plastic part of the connector while holding that tab, and it should just come out just like that, real smooth, not too much pressure. Okay, now the multi-function switch is free from the connection. Now we can take it out. Now that we have the connector removed, now we can remove the combination switch. I don't know if you guys saw one of my videos that I did earlier this year when I replaced a multi-function switch on a Chevy Impala, or I believe it was a Malibu, and you had these push pins right here, this push, and down here you also have a push. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get those two tabs with both of your hands, you know, just pinch them, and then the multi-function switch should come out. Okay, don't put too much pressure. These components don't need too much pressure to come out, especially since they're lubricated. So just those two pins, the one on the bottom here and the one on the top here, push them and the switch should come out. Okay guys, we took the switch out. As you can see, these were the tabs I was talking about. Gotta make sure you push those on both sides because they do have locks on both sides. These plastic locks on the steering wheel assembly. You gotta make sure you push those efficiently so this can come out. Okay, now let's compare the switches. Let's make sure we have the right part. Okay, looks good to me. So now we can begin installing the switch back. Okay, before I put the switch in its place, I wanted to let you guys see how it assembles. So as you can see, this is the tab that I was talking about, and also this one down here. So you just push it in, and it should just snap in place. There you go, you heard that snap. Make sure it's snapped on both sides, and you can verify by the lack of movement. There should be no movement in the switch once the locks go inside and the tabs lock to the steering wheel assembly. There should be no movement, no play. Verify that from the top and the bottom, and now you're ready to connect your connector. Let's go ahead and do that. Always grab it from the connector head, not from the cables. There you go. So our cable's in place. Now we're ready to install everything back. Okay guys, all the other components just install in the reverse order. You know, make sure you get this back nice and flush with that. Make sure this right here stays on there because this is the cover to cover the electronics so that you won't be able to see them from the outside. So make sure you don't take this off. This is there for a reason. Leave it there from the inside. Okay, so just put everything back. Put this piece on the top. Okay, make sure you assemble every lock here. Make sure it locks with the one in the bottom, and then you put your screws back on and you should be good to go. Do not forget to connect your battery back. I connected it back. Make sure this is nice and tight. Make sure you put this little cover, battery cover, along with the PCM back in its place, like that. Okay, I'm gonna actually put the screws that somebody forgot to put because that's the way of doing things. I'm gonna put the screws needed there, and the customer should be ready to go.